No Trick Ponies are ready. Let's jump on into the draft then, folks. So yeah, 27th of March is the next season. Get yourself signed up. Also worthy of note for anybody that's just joined us, we do have a Zul'jin skin bundle giveaway going on. Check that out over on the main channel via Revlo. And additionally, we do have, and I'm sorry, an announcement of an announcement. I hate it, but what can I do? We do have an announcement coming that will be important for Heroes Lounge, which will be coming after the Grand Finals tonight. Grand Finals scheduled to start at 8 PM, so make sure you're here for that, and that you stick around afterwards to hear what's coming up for the future of Heroes Lounge. So, into this draft, we do see Gorge Goodall first banning out the Vikings, so they don't want to have to deal with that.
No, there was no time wasted at all with that ban coming out.
No, and I mean, it's a very strong call on this map. Vikings are terrifying. They can be really, really good, and if your team can play well with them, they can really change the pace and the shape of the map. So they're not going to be dealing with any of that. We do see the Rag ban coming out then from No Trick Ponies. They don't want to see that again. Obviously, Gorge Goodall have picked up Rag in both of the previous maps.
Yeah, and especially on this map, Molten Core can stall out an altar for days.
It certainly can. So we've got Varian as the first pick. So a divergence from what we've seen in the drafts so far. No Mouth first pick may mean that they want to make sure their opponents don't get the Varian. It may mean that Gorge Goodall have an alternative support plan and they didn't actually want the Malfurion. Tough to say, but we'll see what happens moving forward. I would sort of expect NTP to pick up the Malf here in their first rotation. What do you think?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. He's been first pick in the first 2 games.
Ooh, but
well,
they are going to surprise us. They've gone with the Tassadar and that Tychus again, which they have prioritized in all 3 drafts. I was sort of expecting Malf Tychus, but they go with the Tassadar instead. Now, Tassadar very good with the Tychus, so a really nice pairing there, and also just generally very powerful, as we saw in the first map. Can empower a lot of different heroes. Tychus isn't one of the heroes that needs a Tassadar to be impactful, but he still does gain a lot of value off the shields and off the lifesteal. So
there he is.
Mouth being taken now by Gorge Goodall. No surprise at all there. Like they don't want to give over Mouth and Tassadar to the opposing team. Very sensible. So taking the Mouth there, probably better than looking to ban the Mouth out. And they do get the Falstad. So as we mentioned already, globals have a lot of value on this map. So we will see
Another thing worth noting on this map is the area around each team's base is basically an instant death zone to the enemy team. And I've seen on a few occasions Falstad employing the fly behind gust, as it's been called, to force the enemy team into that area and secure, in some cases, a full team wipe.
Okay, so second ban coming out from NTP is going to be Greymane. We haven't seen a Greymane yet this series, but he is pretty strong in the meta at the moment. So, you know, that's fine. I'm not sure that he combos... I suppose he's pretty good with the Varian lockdown. And his cocktail does give good Shrine Interrupt potential. And we see the Sonya ban coming out. Tassadar Sonya, pretty damn scary. I can respect that Sonya ban. It seems pretty reasonable. Rhaegar and Diablo.
That's going to be a ton of sustain in the middle of a team fight.
Yeah, indeed. But we do see the Rhaegar Diablo locked in very quickly for No Trick Ponies. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I?
Betting.
Yes, betting. Betting indeed. So we're going to have another short betting here, guys. Apologies. Make sure you get your bets in quickly. That is 4 minutes from when I started the betting, which was about 40 seconds ago by the time you're hearing this. So we do see the okie dokie then. So we've got our Tannis picked up by Gorge Goodall. Very strong bruiser, very strong engage potential and pick potential with that flip. Very scary for a Tychus or even a Rhaegar, to be honest. And then we get the Sergeant Hammer. Now, Hammer, another one of those heroes that we don't see super often, but when we do, she can be incredibly devastating. The mobility is quite low, but the damage output on that hero is really high, very good, and obviously the range gives you the ability to interrupt those shrines potentially very safely as the game progresses. So, interesting pickup. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. It's again an unconventional pick, I would say. Also allows you to zone enemy heroes away from any altars your team is currently capturing.
And then we get the Arthas pick again. So No Trick Ponies obviously know something I don't. They like their Arthas and they run it into a variety of comps. You know, I don't dislike the choice, but it's not something that I would think is very standard at the moment. But they have got a very survivable, very tanky, very sustain damage orientated comp. The Tychus is their only assassin. They've got 2 supports and 2 warriors. Both of the warriors do quite a bit of damage. Let's not forget that or dismiss that. But yeah, going to be interesting to see how they play this one out.
Yeah, as you say, they've got Rhaegar with some pretty powerful sustained healing. Got Tassadar shields every 8 seconds, and not much in the way of burst damage from the enemy team. So, well, from either team, in all fairness. So, not seeing a great deal of single target blow up. It might just be a case of who can wear down the opposition first. Okay, we are into the game. On the right hand side in red, we do have No Trick Ponies. Giant playing the Arthas, Senric on the Diablo, Millie on the Tassadar, Patska on the Rhaegar, and Silver Fox once again on the Typhus. Yeah, left hand side of the map on the blue team we have Gorge Goodall with Morpheus playing Varian, Pandora Wolf playing Artanis, Oliver on Malfurion, Dragon M playing Sergeant Hammer, and Erwin on Falstad. And here we go. Both teams looking to square up in the middle. The Artanis getting a short range swap on the Diablo, but really that's just going to take off the Tassadar shield. Now, I mean, I have to say, with a Varian and the Hammer here, I sort of think perhaps, again, Gorge Goodall don't have the early game fight advantage. They need to be a little bit careful. The tankiness on the side of No Trick Ponies is especially scary in the early game, before those damage heroes have really ramped up their damage capabilities. Rotation coming in sort of from both teams here, but No Trick Ponies definitely leading in that, in spite of the fact that their wave clear is by no means exceptional. Now, I think what we might expect to see is a 1-1-3 configuration from Gorge Goodall, and it does look like that's what they're shaping up for. Varian, Malf, and Hammer pushing down a lane and actually getting pressure on the lane, while the other lanes are covered by just one member, Falstad and Artanis, respectively. Now, minute and a half into the game, already we've got the triple shrine spawn coming up, and that is one reason that I am not the biggest fan of Varian on this map, is because this event occurs before teams tend to hit level 4, and before Varian hits level 4, he is a bit of a wet noodle. Doesn't do a great deal.
Now, obviously they are counteracting that by having the hammer. Hammer is sieging up here in a position to be able to cover it. They also are helped and benefited by the Falstad, which allows them to cap the shrine on top and then have the quickest rotation. However, we now have a 5v5 shaping up here, and still no level 4s, but the Arthur's kill does come down from Gorge Godalt there, and that will be the level 4 Warbringer talent locked in. That will allow them, I think, to push back, to push back No Trick Ponies, and to get the double shrine capture in the early game. Now, I mean, I may be wrong, but I see Gorge Godalt here as the more scaling composition in this game, and therefore I think it's a little bit worrying to see the first team fight go in favour of Gorge Godalt. Worrying for No Trick Ponies.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Anyway, that's the first objective done with, went in the favour of Gorge Godalt. Now, it's a case of everyone back to their lanes, soaking that XP, trying to get to level 10 as quickly as possible.
And of course, yes, they got the objective advantage, but the XP is still, barring that one kill to none in favour of Gorge Godalt, the XP is still extremely even. And that again is because the objective doesn't provide snowball on this map at all. Now, Diablo trying to get in on the hammer there, but between the Varian charge and the Malfurion roots,
And the hammer not back.
limping at an incredibly slow pace towards the hammer, which is not really how you want to approach your Sergeant Hammer that's sieged up.
No, you want to get in and
you need
ideally
to get
out.
in quick and get your job done. So
See both teams going for the mercenary camps in their respective sides of the map.
we're not seeing any attempt to invade by Gorge Godalt, although I thought that might have been something they'd want to do.
The altars will rise shortly, heroes. Be ready.
Something else that sets this map apart from pretty much all the others on this map rather is that the mercenaries will do core damage if they can be walked or escorted or indeed make their own way
Absolutely.
to the barrier of the enemy's base.
The sapper camps we do also see on Haunted Mines, but that isn't in the isn't in the map pool for Heroes Lounge. So this is the only map where we see that sort of additional functionality from them as core pressure. Now we do see No Trick Ponies are making a very aggressive posture here. One member capping the shrine while 4 go in on interrupting the enemy shrine. Flip comes down on the Arthas and he takes a lot of damage, but the Frost Presence there is going to, the Icebound Fortitude there is going to keep him alive and get him out of that one. They were trying to channel while still kind of fighting, and they're trying to do it again.
Yeah,
Don't really like this.
Again. Rooted, got the Tassadar shields, but the Varian stun.
And we do see No Trick Ponies continually trying to channel while still fighting, and that kind of costs them because they've got a member that isn't actively participating in the fight there. Wow, that is a big swap on the Diablo. However, Oopsie Daisy puts Artanis very close to the enemy towers and allows the Diablo to charge straight back to the Artanis, stun him against the gate there, and get the pick off. So a bit of a mistake getting that swap in by the Artanis there.
Yeah, the temptation is always there to go for the god swap.
But Diablo particularly is not terribly vulnerable to those swaps because of his the way he works and the fact that he can just usually charge back to the Artanis and get himself out of dodge again.
Yeah.
So we do see the game returning to normal. 2 kills to 1 now in favour of Gorge Godalt, and still that 4 core health advantage for them as well. Once again, we've seen both the teams pick up the sapper camps. once again, no-trick ponies, by virtue of being the second ones to pick up their sapper camps, have ended up, I think, slightly on the better end of that trade, because they were able to pick up their sapper camp, rotate down, clear the enemy sapper camp, and then move away while their sapper camp arrived, whilst the enemy was whilst Gorge was sort of locked down into that lane, trying to protect their own sappers, and then trying to defend the enemies. We don't currently see any soap being picked up by Gorge in the mid lane.
I was about to say that, actually. Tassadar getting some free XP.
Yeah, they're trying to get some value in the bottom lane by pushing with the hammer, but I'm not quite sure why the Falstad was moved away from just collecting the soak in mid lane, which is what he was doing a little earlier. Trying to get a pick, or looking for a defensive pick on the Artanis as he rotated down, but that's not going to happen. Hammer is once again sieged up in range of the shrine, so nobody's going to be able to channel that without him shooting.
Swap there.
Massive swap on the Tychus, but the lightning breath of Diablo doing loads of damage across both the Falstad and the Sergeant Hammer there, forcing Gorge to pull back and allowing Patsku to just sit there quite calmly and channel that shrine, getting some lockdown on the Artanis, and will get the kill on him. Looks like the Sergeant Hammer's going to be able to pull back, but Varian getting flipped and swapped out by the Diablo. Hammer trying to position aggressively to attack the enemy team, but not going to be able to pull off a kill there.
Now, that was only just the one kill, I think, in that entire exchange. But it all kicked off when Artanis landed that swap on Tychus. The Odin came out, Archon came out from Tassadar as well, and basically each team just went full tilt. Trying to get that altar.
The Tychus was sort of taken out of the equation because he was taking a lot of damage, but then so was the Hammer. And the Hammer had sieged up and then was forced to try and retreat, so was not putting any damage down, which obviously, isn't what you want as the Hammer there.
No, not at all.
So both siege camps now picked up by no-trick ponies. Gorge have put Artanis in this top lane, just getting push, but the Arthas has now come up to curtail what he's able to do there. And Arthas in this game gone for what I would see as a more standard Arthas build. Has got block into the Biting Cold at level 4, and then Icebound Fortitude. Falstad has once again gone for an AA build, but this time has gone for Secret Weapon. Now, I'm not so sure about that one. I rate Boomerang quite a bit higher. So we do have the double shrine spawn, and Hammer once again sieged up, protecting this shrine. Does not want to let the enemy team get too close to it.
We see Diablo
has peeled off and is taking the bottom shrine, and we do have the 4-man grouping here from, oh dear, Arthas getting silenced by the Twilight Dream, and that is going to be enough to take him down. And then a massive blind from the Artanis, but Lightning Breath once again coming out from Diablo is going to pick off the Falstad, so that is a 1-for-1. And I think once again that altar was channeled by Gorge there.
Yeah, so it was a 1-for-1, well, 1-all I should say, altars in that particular objective phase, putting them at 24 points of core health each.
Indeed.
It's too close to core.
What face is about my reaction to that one as well. Let's quite agree with you there. We do have the slow warp sickness at level 7 from Artanis, which will combo very nicely with Executioner from the Hammer, along with Roots and the slow from Falstad, and indeed the stun from Varian. So once we hit level 16 with the hammer, I think the damage is going to be pretty terrifying. But that is still a little ways off.
See, no trick ponies with a just under a 1 level lead here over Gorge Godalt. Same talents here though, so it won't make an amazing amount of difference. But we see Gorge Godalt pressuring this bottom lane quite aggressively. They won't get much, or if any, keep damage. An objective spawning in 20 seconds is most likely going to be their focus.
And we are on the second and last triple altar phase. We only get 2 of these in the game, one at the beginning and one as the 5th phase. So that's the stage we're at. Gust burnt very early here.
Yes.
Now the altars are up, and it does look like one is going each way here, but Arthur's getting picked off, trying to rotate up to defend the top right altar, but he's going to get taunted and just blown up there. Ancestral comes down on the Diablo, and the lightning breath once again is doing devastating amounts of damage to the hammer and to the Falstad. Artanis getting picked off, as is the Falstad, and that's going to be 2-1 in the altar channels, putting the core health at 20 to 16 in favour of No Trick Ponies, and they are looking for a boss here. That is going to be 20 to 12 in the core health, and
another 4 core damage. See Gorge Godalt basically giving up that boss there and getting the Sapper camp on their side of the map.
Looking to get some more pressure in the bottom lane. Now, around about 10, 12 core health is when things start getting really scary, because this point later on in the game we do have level 16 talents for No Trick Ponies, so they do have that advantage in their favour. A significant teamfight win for them can sort of end the game at this point. If you can get a double altar channel and lock in a couple of extra bell towers, you can very easily do 12 damage in sort of one 60-second cycle of the enemy team being dead. So Gorge Godalt really got to be careful here. It's by no means over, because as we've said, this is a map where snowballing isn't really a thing. Comebacks most definitely are. So it could still go either way. However, the next altar is spawning in 25 seconds. I don't think we're going to see level 16 talents for Gorge Godalt in that time. No, I might be wrong. Falstad might be able to get it off this wave and this tower that he's getting in mid. So we should see level 16 versus level 16. However, this bell tower might be about to go down. These sappers very, very nearly take out the bell tower, but not quite. And that's actually kind of a big deal. Not having that bell tower there, or worse still, having the bell tower in the enemy's favour, makes it very hard for retreats to occur. Now the team fight is engaging. We do see the silence from the mouth. Once again, lightning breath comes down, but this time the gust on the rest of the team allows the Diablo to be burst down. However, Tychus still putting out huge damage, putting several members on the team of Gorge Godalt very low, but he is going to stay a little bit too long, and the charge followed by the taunt from the Varian there is going to get the pick off on the Tychus. Diablo is already back because of his souls, but the Tychus and then the Arthas have fallen. Now, once again, No Trick Ponies opted to channel and fight at the same time. So they did lock in that channel on the altar. They've got their opponent down to 8 core health, and that is a big deal, there's no doubt.
It is a big advantage, but they lost 2 members of their, well, 3 arguably. Well, what with Diablo's short res time, where it felt more like 2. But they lost 3 kills in that fight, and bell tower as well in the bottom lane.
Yeah, as a consequence.
Offset the capture of the objective?
Well, I mean, it's tough to say. It does allow Gorge Godalt to have a distinct advantage on the map temporarily. They're going to have at least one extra bell tower in their favour. Possibly 2 still here, though No Trick Ponies are trying to defend. That is the second bell tower, and if No Trick Ponies are, if Gorge Goodalt are able to retreat in good order here, and it looks like the route will allow that to happen, that is a pretty major advantage. 2 bell towers in their favour restricts No Trick Ponies' movement on the map, makes it very scary for them to contest any altars in the bottom half of the map because they have no rotation. They have no retreat point, and it also allows for mercenary pressure from those sappers to threaten core damage. Now, Falstad getting a bit caught out here, but does manage to pull back. Varian taking a lot of damage, but that is an Artanis blind across 4 members of the team, and that's a pretty big deal when you're talking about an Odin Tychus. Lightning Breath coming down, Sergeant Hammer will fall, Diablo will also fall, but then the Varian is going to go down as well. It's going to require a gust to get the remaining 3 members of Gorge Goodalt out of there. However, the altars have already gone live, and the Falstad Fly is going to lock in the altar channel.
Yeah,
in the top right.
Extra 6 shot just before Tychus was able to take that bell tower back.
And that was 6 shots, and then this second channel was 5 shots. So it's putting them on pretty much even core health. Now, the scary thing here for Gorge Goodalt is that because No Trick Pony's got the kill advantage there, they are now ahead on XP. And that is going to mean level 20s locked in for them in just a few seconds. Now, that is obviously pretty scary for Gorge Goodalt, as is the fact that this bottom bell tower on their side, the bottom left bell tower, is going to fall the next time somebody sneezes in its general vicinity. So it's definitely close, and the boss here is pretty scary for both teams because neither team can really allow the other to pick that up. It will put them in a position where a single altar shrine is threatening game over. That's not a situation you want to be in, obviously.
Not at all. Also, now, the bell tower has fallen to that No Trick Pony Sapper camp.
It certainly has, and that means,
as it stands, 1 altar and 1 boss will win them the game.
That's correct.
And the series.
And what's scary now here is that we've got a spawn on this bottom altar, and obviously there is no fort on the bottom side of the map for Gorge Goodalt. Now, what we're seeing here is an interesting call. Gorge Goodalt have gone for the boss. They're saying you can have the altar in 5 shots, but we'll take the boss, and then you won't be able to end. However, the 4-man from Gorge Goodalt has come, from No Trick Ponies, has come up to contest the boss, and I'm not sure I like this by No Trick Ponies. Tassadar is not with them, and they're engaging in a fight here.
The boss has been taken down. So
Diablo doing huge damage with Lightning Breath, and 3 members fall, and that is actually game. No Trick Ponies take game 3 with that boss, ending the game and the match, putting themselves through into the next round of the losers bracket. Gorge Goodalt